Going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a recessed meeting carrying over a quasi judicial hearing item from last week's meeting on Thursday. If I could I get approval to approve the agenda?
I make a motion we approve the agenda.
No, second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. The agenda is approved. The item we're here for, as I mentioned, is a quasi-judicial hearing. It's on a variance, VAR 25-0002 for Stephen Turner. Nick, I'm going to turn it over to you and like to go through the documentation you have for us.
We'll jump right into it. So just as a quick reminder, it is a variance. So anytime we hear a variance, there are several findings that the board needs to consider and find before you can grant a variance. And with variance, I will say just keep in mind that a variance has to be granted or denied by a 4/5 majority, which is 80% or 6 members. Kind of what I just touched on, you have to find evidence to support the findings, 4/5 of the board, which in our case is 6 members, and if you find it reasonable to pose any conditions to protect the health, wealth, and safety and those sorts of things, they can be added to the variance. And just remember the variance will run with the land. It's not just for this single applicant. It will run with the land for what they're trying to pursue. And it is quasi-judicial, so it's an evidentiary hearing. They'll need to be sworn. Anyone that wishes to speak will need to be sworn in and have standing. Persons without standing will be heard at the pleasure of the board. Okay, so jumping into the specifics of it. So this is a variance on Bowers Road in regards to the setbacks on regular lots. So the applicant's rationale for the variance is due to some of the hydrology and soil conditions and just the lay of the land, they have concerns that the setback requirements will pose issues for the development of their structure. So this is the land as it exists. Right now it's a field. Approximately right in here, or also as indicated approximately right in here, is where the applicant is seeking to build their accessory structure. And if we look at it from here, it's approximately right in here. So just to kind of give you a lay of the land, and just for those who may not be familiar, these are topography lines. So it just shows us the change in elevations from a top-down view. So in regards to the specifics of the ordinance, the applicant is seeking a variance on the setbacks. And so when you look at the way our ordinance is set up, based on what they're trying to do and how they're zoned, the structure needs to be 50 feet from the road right away. When you look at Bowers Road and doing research and preparation for this, I found an old DOT plat that was recorded, and there's the information for those curious, but the DOT plat that was recorded for Bowers Road says it's a 60-foot wide road. So just to make it simple, if you'd split that in half and say 30 in each direction of the yellow center line plus the 50-foot setback. So which means, I guess kind of in layman's terms to help visualize it, the structure would need to be 80 feet from the yellow line when they go to build it, or 50 feet from the right-of-way, whichever way you kind of want to think about it. It's the same distance though. So that's what they're trying to achieve a variance from, is that setback distance. So in variances, and I will say the applicant has provided numerous drawings and diagrams and schematics within your packet. I've already opened your binders up to those pages for this. I'll give you a moment to review them just since we had a recess. It'll give you a chance to refresh your memory, but if you flip, I think there's 2 or 3 pages, you'll get past my material and you'll get into the applicant's provided materials and responses. And then at any time, if you have questions, but I will say normally in a variance case, since they're seeking relief from the little interpretations of the ordinance, the planning department doesn't generally give a recommendation. We just lay out what the rules were and what they're trying to seek relief from. But if you have any questions, please reach out.
One quick question, just to clarify for everybody. It looks like the structure we see in the house and all that you see in those pictures, that's their house, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
So what's the setback gonna end up being if we approve?
Hang on, let me get back. My computer froze. Bear with me 1 second. All right, bear with me just 1 second. It went to sleep. They were requesting to come 24 feet closer to the road. So, which would be they were requesting a 26-foot setback
From the right of way?
from the right of way. And the applicant will have a chance to get up and speak on the matter, so.
Sure.
Just to be clear.
Nick, in your discussions, what is the rationale on the building placement? Is it because of the drain that's in that field, it looks like, to make the building fit?
As in, why do we have 50 foot?
No. As in, okay, the field itself looks like it's large enough for the structure, right? And potentially with the existing setback. So is there a terrain feature or something like that that is,
The applicant proffers that there's drainage issues and the additional expense of gravel to stabilize that land. And there was concerns about the soil type being soft.
yeah, as you get siltier in that low ground
Yes.
there. Yeah, I see that. It's a little difficult to see on the pictures we have of the video or of the aerials, but it looks as though go back to that last one.
Would, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look on that left side, right, in the top left corner, you see the house and the lowest building there, right? If you go to the right of that, you see that vegetated part, the dark gray and the dark black color there. So that's going to probably be the top end of this drain where it just wasn't farmed. And you can kind of follow that down to that clump of trees there, kind of in the bottom left. Not the bigger clump of pines, but just that gray blob there in the middle of the field, right? And that's usually what you see when there's a low spot, and it may only be a foot, but in a flat field that can, as y'all probably know, I mean, we're all kind of country livers, residents around here. That'll make it kind of wet there. So, and I know on something we had built on our farm, we found that they didn't dig out enough of the old barn manure and all, and they had to go back because the core samples weren't right and dig it all out. So, while it may not seem like a big deal, it can be. Nick, do you have anything else you want to present before we let them speak?
Nope. Generally, like I said, in a variance, the planning department, because we're here to enforce
Yep.
what's written, so we try and just present what the ordinance says and any guidance that the board may need.
Y'all have any questions or comments before we ask them to come to the podium? Okay, Nick, you want to swear them in?
Sure. Are both of you speaking tonight? Okay. If you'll just raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. You mean bring the microphone to you?
I'll just walk
Okay.
up here.
And
Just leave that one up. I do have something that I can if y'all will allow me to.
I got a laser if you need it.
All right, this is the state variance, the blue line.
No.
That's not it from the center of the road.
No.
The blue line represents just
Your
the
parcel.
the parcel line.
Blue line is the parcel, which is an approximation.
Okay. All right, coming off of Bowers Road, this road actually angles. The variance should be showing somewhere or beyond it would be here. What I had looked to do was to take, and if you'll notice on the drawing with the building on it, that the county asked that I put a drawing on, there is from right here, you can see the gradual slope. From about to the crest of this hill along here, between here and there's a wash that comes right through where the variance says I need to put the building. There is a wash that comes through there. Nick wasn't there when I mowed the grass, but I did mow beyond and mowed this area out. That same day, we had 2 1/8 inches of water. During that time, this water came down and circled around inside that area where he said that the county said the variance needs to be. That being a natural wash, I also had a concrete man to come and we shot with a laser to see how much grade that I would have. One was on the 2 spikes where the variance, and 2 on the outside and 2 over here. But after seeing the way the water actually comes in and curves around, I can actually take the building from the edge of the variance line and bring it in about 5 foot, which would bring it more like 55. And that would still give me enough slope away from the building that the water will be running away. I don't want any water running to a building. Something happens to me and she has to take care of the building, she's gonna have to hire it out. Now, the one thing I did ask the concrete guy, I said, with that dip there, I said, how's that gonna affect the building? He said, we'll just have to dig deeper until we can find stable enough ground to put the base and then start from there. Well, that's a burden of added expense. The other land, which I don't know if you can tell, is real dead looking right here. It's some of the poorest land that I've got. Over here at the, my driveway is solid rock. And what's strange is across the road on substation and between substation and 1002, which is the next road over, just across from my driveway in the woods, I've got ruts knee deep from skidders that have gone through. Same like soil will be right here in this area. How deep the man would have to go to build a base where it's solid enough to build up from to put a pad on, who knows? But I do know these type areas where water tends to run to and stand, and bull talc, which I have a lot of bull talc in this area, you will sink.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been stuck in my yard, mostly she's been stuck in my yard. But the further I get out here in the field away from the road, you're also talking more expense, more gravel, more expense and burden. I have the money to build the building now, but the more expense becomes more burden. And right now, I'm drawing on 2 IRAs, and when they're gone, my money drops. She, on the other hand, her business, she was able to make some money.
Pretty decent,
Hmm?
but not decent money, but not a whole lot.
Right.
Less than around 30,000 a year, which is normal for here, because I do, but I also do a lot of labor, delivery and stuff with babies, and I have to bring the mothers, and I've got older clientele with the herbs and the other stuff. All that stuff would be getting washed completely away, and I can't even do my normal business because they cut that out, they shut that down in pieces, so I can't even make a living at that thing. And yes, I've been stuck in that yard, and it's a F-150, and it doesn't matter if you're an F-150 or the little shoddy little thing we used to have, you get stuck.
Now, originally, I had planned to run the building parallel with the road. But with the drive here, it would be more conducive to angle it more this way. Come across the proposed line that Nick showed, come maybe 5 feet, more or less. It might, when I get out and lay the building out. Now, like I said, this dead area right here, I don't know if it's because of rocks close to the top of the ground, but I've never gotten the corn to grow no higher than that and never produced a thing. That's the poorest land I got, but it's on the crest of a hill where I know she can get in, especially in the wintertime. But the further out I get in the field, the more sinkage I'm gonna have.
Yeah, and to get your core samples, you might have to dig a few feet more. That's a lot of fill,
Well,
so.
the man that's looked at it, he said, that's what he told me, he said, here I'll probably dig a foot off, but he said the further out you go, said I'll probably have to dig way deeper until I can find the stable ground
Yeah.
that'll compact to hold. What I don't want is to build a building and then all of a sudden water's constantly coming up to that side of the building and the building splits right in the middle with a crack, which I have seen before. Plus, that's my burden there, but Shieldsbury in there probably continuously working.
I do have a work to do, and I've had a stroke, but I get in it and out there, and can go and do what I need to do. But like I said, Eastland, the guy that owns the building, all three of us have. The preacher, my business, and hers, because he had for 2 months and decided, oh, you're gonna have to leave now.
Well, he sent you a letter and we got it a week later, then we had 7 weeks to make provisions to get her out of there. So, but
And it
that,
sounds like the reason for the variance here is dealing with the micro topography of the site
Yeah.
to where if you were to put it to where it met the current setbacks, you're going to be several feet over towards the silty soil there that's gonna really end up
Well,
being
the
an
wash-
unknown additional expense.
the wash actually runs through it. It almost has like a curve.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I said the back end, if it's over 5 foot over that line, it would be, I'd be
Getting
trying
it
to,
out of the way.
yeah, but I've still got a way, when the rain comes off the building, it'll run away from the building and not stand there and make a problem.
Mosquitoes and all that other stuff.
Um,
And I have clients that come in that are in wheelchairs or whatever, and they come in to me to deal with medical stuff and my herbs stuff, and I do the herbs, I make them in my own stuff. It's all that wash. There's no
Sure.
way I can have a business and yes, try trying to get here or business here.
Yeah, and any
1500
structure with moisture issues is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So,
Well, too, I wanted inviting to any of the local customers that she
Yeah.
does have. I do want them to be able to get in and out. And the further out in the field, it's gonna be the depth of the mud. I have seen places where you've put gravel, drive over it the next day, and gravel's gone, mud's back up to the top. I mean,
Yeah,
it'll be a
I've had plenty
continual,
people.
but, at the angle of that barn too, would make it easier for a handicap driver to pull in and get out. It also would be easier for medical or emergency vehicles to get in and out a little closer. So,
For any of my clients, cause I have from babies to 80-year-old and a 90-year-old that come to my herbs to get them. They've had cancer or whatever, and they're coming to me for herbs, and they're calling me now. And I can't get to my product because they're in a barn, and I can't get to do anything. So I'm like, I feel,
so it sounds like this building in general is solving a sole proprietor business need
Yep.
that's going to also make it more, I guess, I'm looking for the politically correct term, make it more handicap accessible for those with accessibility issues.
yes, it would.
So that's the reason behind this, and the issue we're looking at deciding on is whether we can allow you to adjust the location of the building to better meet the topography needs as you go through this process of making a more handicap accessible business.
That would meet, we are trying to meet that requirement, cause they can pull in, and if they pull in right, they can get out, and they can be on concrete, not
Yeah.
gravel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they back out, they'll have more room. I mean, there'll still be plenty of room to back out. But, of course, I need a parking space for her, and if I turned it just a little more this way, and a little closer to the road, she might not run in the corner of the building and take it out, so.
not
Hopefully,
that
anyway.
bad. I'm not that bad, driver.
She says she's not, but,
Any questions from the board? Comments?
And no, we don't
And
have any
I
horses or
say,
cows or anything up that way. The neighbors have all the cows and the horses, and so.
now, I will, keep one corner of the shop for myself to keep my tools so I can pull
Yeah.
up under the shed. It will have a 15-foot shed on it to work on equipment.
Mhm.
But primarily, it's gonna be, the walls is gonna be her she shed, the middle part's gonna be my he shed, so for repairs.
Yeah, because you're farming out there, and
Yeah.
and she has a business that's
Yeah.
there. So I mean,
Well-
it falls into kind of that rural agricultural farm business that is
Right.
pretty prevalent across the county. So
And-
Especially my herbs are from all over North Carolina, and I have them growing at the shop.
Mhm.
Not anymore, can't do that.
Well, there's been some tougher regulations come in on herbal stuff too. But I have also sold produce at her store when she was in
Mhm.
Peachland. Of course, this year was a bust with all the rain and then having to move
yeah,
through
tell me
and
about it. We
everything.
had the same issue.
I've got
too much
grass
rain.
everywhere.
Yeah.
My line finally took hold and did its job. The only problem is I don't have anything there. But
Okay, Nick, we've gotten your presentation on this. We've got a very clear idea of why this is being requested, what the situation is. Any other, I want to make sure we,
One thing of note, when we started this process, when I started it with the applicants, there were indications that the road right-of-way was 50 feet. And doing more and more research and preparation for the hearing, I came across plats that said it, that definitively identified it as a 60-foot right-of-way. So the applicant was originally requesting a 24-foot variance on the setback to bring it 24 feet closer to the road. Still the same location, I just want to make sure everybody, it'll be a 29. I know the applicant's asking for 24, but it'll be 29.
is there any DOT liability that, like, how does, God forbid somebody's driving down the road and this building gets hit, right?
It's outside the DOT right of way still, so you're not
Okay.
allowed to build in the DOT right of way. So.
Okay, so that's still met.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's been plenty of trucks in our corner of the house. So.
on the other road.
We got a crossroad in front of the house, weird angles, and
Yeah.
I've had people out in the garden almost every year that I've lived there.
And this puts your building in a safer location on your property.
Well, no, it's gonna be, from the crossroad, it's gonna be on a less.
Yeah,
traveled
you're,
road.
yeah,
It's not
exactly.
gonna be that heavy.
Safer area than where that spot.
Say Hopewell Church Road, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning, going 80 miles an hour past my house, I hear it every morning.
Yeah.
Whoom, 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 whoom.
And the motorcycles are even louder.
Sure. So, Nick, do you have any particular thoughts on this? Any concerns, considerations that we need to keep in mind?
No, if you feel the applicant's proposal, if they've demonstrated the findings and you feel that you can make a determination to grant it based on what's presented, it would just need a motion. Like I said, it would just need a 4/5 majority. Yeah.
Reading through all this, I'm checking them all. Is any Melanie? Go ahead.
Would they have to meet all A, B, C, D, and E?
Yes.
I'm all for helping them out. I'm all for helping them out. The only concern I have going forward is if we set a precedent.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody comes by and say, you know, financial hardship to do this, that these people do it, and that might be fine. I'm good
Sure.
with whatever. That's the only thing that concerns me is setting the precedent going forward.
Nick, with this being a variance, right, with this specific situation, sounding like the biggest decision point for them requesting this is the topography there,
Yeah,
right?
it would be the microsite
Yeah.
conditions.
Does that set a precedent that we could get in trouble in as a county? Or does that allow us still on a case-by-case basis? Because honestly, if it wasn't for that micro topography, the justification would seemingly be different in this case,
Yeah,
right?
so with a variance, it's judged on a case by case, so, I don't think any precedent would be set. And just to, I guess, give you guys a broader sense, when we look at setbacks within the county, the majority of our setbacks, front setbacks, measured from the road right of way is 50 feet. There are a few zoning designations where we allow it to go down to 30. You're looking at light industrial, heavy industrial, neighborhood business, and general business. But most of your rural activities and your residential, or rural and residential zoning designations, they're gonna have a 50-foot front setback.
Okay,
So just kind of give you
sure.
a bigger picture view.
Well, because it seems like they check off each of these, there are some hardships and practical difficulties that are unique to this particular site. It will make for potentially an inability to use the land when we look at having to go and mess with the topography and start messing with the water table by digging it down to solid soil. It doesn't seem like it's going to interfere or injure the rights of folks around there. I mean, he owns most of the land there at it and knows his neighbors, and none of them are here, so they don't have concern with this project. It does in part have a little bit of issue with the harmony of this ordinance, but I think it still serves that general intent and purpose, because he's not just trying to put a building somewhere because he wants to put a building there. He's asking to put a building there because of the topography of this property, where it'll fit in the area, but it's too wet if you go out into the field without adding substantial financial hardship to them. And I feel like it would be justice being done both for the public and being a pro-business board, as well as to these individuals who are trying to get back on their feet with the business, trying to make it to where after some health issues, she still has a way to access this building. Her husband's going to be using it for farming, so that falls right into their farm business. So being that all 5 findings are there, I make a motion that we approve their variance request. Got a second? Any further discussion?
Are you,
All right.
any conditions?
I
I just want to make sure.
guess let me ask this. The conditions run into if he needs to go further, then the variance isn't for going further. It's for the amount of distance he's requesting, right?
The variance is to bring it closer to the road,
On a
not farther.
specific amount of, right. So if he needs to bring it closer to the road, so instead of 29 feet, he ends up needing 35 feet, that is not approved, right? We're approving the 29 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that still gives a lot of buffer on the road there, so, yeah, I continue my motion there for the no conditions, I guess is the answer to that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The variance has been approved. Thank you very much. And glad we could help y'all with this. And for anyone listening, you know, we run into unique situations with pretty much every project in this county. And I think it's important for everyone to understand that, as we say every meeting just about these days, we're your neighbors. We want to see these projects come to fruition if possible. And if there is a way that we can help, our board is not set up to prevent you from doing something as long as it's pretty much within the confines of what the county has set for approved uses. And in this case, it was a minor technicality on a setback that makes sense as to why you're asking. So,
And so the applicant, so where I'll need to draft a findings of fact and conclusion. The board will review it and sign it. And once that's done, which will be done within the next few business days, I'll issue it to you, and you're free to pursue your building, zoning and building permit.
Thank you very much. God bless y'all. 'Cause I know it's hard. You've got your stuff and we've all had our issues and it'd be nice to get back to work.
amen to that.
Hair can't see coming.
Consider my son, my daughter and son, my daughter and her son and Sylvia's friend, Hurricane Helene. So was my mom and daddy. They hit Florida coast and then North Carolina part. And so we've been doing them too. My parents are 80, almost 87 and daddy's 90.
That's beautiful.
So, and they're still married.
Even more beautiful.
I do appreciate the board taking the time out, making this extra effort. I do appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I did make a suggestion on the last one that you get you a couple of alternates that you can pull from. My concern would be later on, if things start piling up, we miss a meeting, and then we have to go to the next one. It's not gonna be deep.
Yeah, truly.
I did bring that up with a commissioner the other day. so.
Excellent. And I mentioned it to Jamie that night as well and had a little bit of, so we'll, hopefully they can make an adjustment on that just so we do. All right. Nick, do you have anything else?
Nope, and I don't see anyone in the public for item 4, public
Yeah.
comment, so unless the commissioners have.
Make a motion to
Board
adjourn?
members have anything else to discuss.
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you all. Best of luck with everything. Hope it goes smooth.
Thank you. You too, Danny.
Nick, appreciate you getting everything set up for us again. Did a great job as always. Do you need me to sign anything yet?
No,
Okay.
I've got it.